My name is Vanessa, and in this PowerPoint, I will be comparing two statues of David. The first is by Donatello, sculpted in the 1440s, and the second by Michelangelo, sculpted around 1501. Now, both of these are statues about the character of David from the Bible, who was a shepherd, and he volunteered to fight the giant Goliath, and he didn't have any weapons or armor. He just had a sling and some stones, but he was able to defeat that giant. So it's a story of God's favor and overcoming great odds with God's favor. Now, both of these statues are freestanding male nudes, very much in the classical style. There are so many of the classical ideas of realism here where they are just proportionally realistic, anatomically correct. They look very lifelike. And both of these statues are in contrapposto, where they're both shifting their weight onto one leg. They're actually both leaning on the right side. And, the hips and the shoulders also adjust to that. It makes them look more alive and ready to move, more lifelike. So Donatello's David is made out of bronze. It is very dark, lustrous, beautiful, shiny sculpture, and it's about 5 feet tall. It was displayed in the Medici Gardens, so it was meant to be seen up close and personal. And while he is nude, David is wearing boots and a hat, which I thought was a little comical at first, but that hat has all these vines and leaves in it, and it reminds you of this pastoral sense. And it reminds you that he was actually a shepherd. So that's true to his character there. He's holding the sword from Goliath, and he's standing on Goliath's severed head. He's also holding that stone from the story. Now, the texture I see in this is just so smooth. Everything is very, very smooth. There's a little bit of texturing in the hair and the curls there, but other than that, all the muscles are very relaxed. The ripples of the muscles are very smooth. It just highlights how young he is, how very slender, all those curving lines just show how much of a teenager this boy is. By contrast, we have Michelangelo's David, who is a much more solid, imposing figure. It's carved out of marble. It's very tall, over 17 feet high. Originally, it was meant to be seen from far away up on a cathedral, and it's not as shiny or slippery as the other statue. It's carved out of marble, so it would be a little more grainy under the fingers, I suppose. But what gets me about the texture of this is how sharp it is. Every muscle is standing out sharply, every feature of the face, even the tendons behind the knees just stand out so sharply against that stone. It's amazing. I'm noticing that it goes beyond realism here, and it goes into the realm of idealism, and that's still a very Greek idea of just something being so perfect and that ideal version of it. Seeing both of these characters, side by side, their faces are both very young, but Donatello's David is so much younger. He looks very boyish, very much like a teenager, but he looks wiser. He's quieter, calmer. Michelangelo's David looks a lot older. He could be in his 20s, maybe. He has that muscle structure of a man, and he looks much more intense. And I love that it shows kind of two different sides of the same coin here. You have the poet, the shepherd, the wise king, but then you also have the warrior. And those are two different sides of the character of David. Another great moment is the stone that they're both holding from the sling. Donatello's David, you can see it right there. He's holding it by his hip. But Michelangelo's David, I had to look really hard to find that stone because it's in the palm of his hand. His fingers are curled around it. It's clenched very tightly. And that allows you to make all these extra details pop out on the hand. You can see every single bone, every single vein is just popping out all the way up his arm. It's an incredible, incredible attention to detail. So yeah, we have both of these sculptures by two different artists, and I did the math, they're about 60 years apart. So you can see a little bit of a development here. We have Donatello's David, which was kind of like an introduction, a sort of coming out, if you will, where he's saying, yes, we can do this. We have this classical style. We can do it. And then Michelangelo's David, he's just so confident. It's just solid right there saying, absolutely, yes, we have arrived. This is the new classical. Welcome. Welcome to the Renaissance.